Good morning, everybody. It's what day is it? It's the 23rd of July, 2020. It's just gone past 11 o'clock. And welcome to this workshop. This workshop is on Unit 16 of the Level 3 Facilities Manager course, which is layered on top of the Level 3 Facilities Manager Supervisor Apprenticeship, of which you are all here today undergoing in various different stages. Some of you here are just starting. Some of you here are literally right at the very end. So your experience and range on this course and on this apprenticeship is throughout the whole life of that apprenticeship. So there's a great deal of experience in this room on this course, notwithstanding your own individual appointments in your own individual organisations. You all have a great deal of experience. And as I said before we recorded, don't be backwards in coming forwards, please. The whole of this this workshop, as I said, is based around learning objective 1 of Unit 15, which is leadership and management. It is fairly basic, and I've delivered it in a limited aim format. In other words, what I deliver to you today is relevant exactly to learning objective 1. The aim of that is to try and make your lives a little bit easier when it comes to actually doing your work and submitting your work. Before we start, let's have a little bit of admin, so to speak. So let's have a quick look at Padlet. Now, at the minute, I'm sharing my screen with you, and that's what will be recorded. And every now and then, I'll have to stop sharing that screen and share another screen. So a little bit of an admin interruption. Let's do that now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm now going to share another screen with you, which is this one. So you should be able to see the Padlet now. This is familiar for you. This is one of your resource locations. It's the central resource location that I provide for you on this course. You've all seen it. You all know it's there. The majority of you use it. And you should use it because this is your resources handpicked to help you get through this unit. A couple of points of note. First of all, you can now see that there are four new areas. Endpoint assessment, level 2 current unit, level 3 current unit, level 4 current unit. Clearly, the level 3 is the one that's relevant to you guys, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. The endpoint assessment area, I would suggest that you familiarise yourselves with that and what's in there. And for those of you coming towards the end of your learning journey, certainly within 2 units of the end, then I would suggest you familiarise yourself with what's in that area, and then at an appropriate time arrange a call with me to discuss your endpoint assessment. Okay, let's have a quick look in the level 3 current unit. Now, clearly this area here has resources in here that is directly relative to the unit that you are now studying, rather than going to the FM subjects area where you see all of the subjects holistically. For example, here is all of the FM units, and you'll notice that even in here, the FM courses, units and subjects, you'll notice that even here there's a link into the current unit areas. So whether you get to your unit area from here or whether you get to your unit area from here, the bottom line is that it all leads to the same place, and it looks something like this. So everything that you're looking at here now is relative to this morning's workshop. All of the handouts which have been created for you, the media wall and the management media wall, which is part of a larger level 5 management and leadership, but still very relative to you. And likewise with the today's workshop, which is available for you here. It's also available for you in the workshop area, which you can get to here. So differentiation, theories and styles for leadership and management. There we go at the very end there. I'm not sure whether you can see my mouse, but it's the last tile on the end. So you've got all the resources there, notwithstanding, of course, our favourite lady, Jane Wiggins. Jane Wiggins, Facilities Manager's desk reference. For one of our learning partners that's in the room at the minute, in the metaphoric room, who's brand new and who hasn't even done induction and orientation yet, fear not, all of this will become known and available to you when we get a chance to catch up on Friday. Okay, so there we go. That's where you go for your resources, etc., notwithstanding the fact your own research. Right, I'm now going to stop sharing that screen, I believe. Yes, I am. I'm going to stop sharing that screen and go back into crikey, holy moly. Here we go. Screen 2. Am I sharing screen 2? No, I'm not. There's always an admin, I'm afraid. The challenges are always there. So I should be sharing screen 2 now, which is back to the presentation. Okay, so there we go. There's a quick reminder of you. It doesn't matter whether you get to your current unit area via the main screen on your Padlet, or whether you get there via the FM subjects area. The fact of the matter is that is where you go for your relative resources for your current unit, and all level 3s currently are studying unit 15. Some level 3s have not finished their previous unit, and this is just more of an impetus to say, well, you know, the train can't stop, so you need to address those and you need to get those in. And if you've got problems with that, then speak to me throughout the rest of the week, and we will arrange additional learning support to help you with that. Great. Well, as ever, before we start this, I need to know what it is that you know. So again, I'm going to stop sharing my screen backwards and forwards here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. In the meantime, please bring out your phones, or indeed, if you've got another screen on your computer, then by all means go to worldwidewebkahoot.it. And you'll be asked to enter a PIN. If you've got an Android phone or an Apple phone, then of course download Kahoot. It's perfectly safe. It's no malware. Fear not. It is used at schools and colleges and universities, and the majority of you here have used this with me before. So please download it, install it onto your phone. If necessary, uninstall it afterwards. But Kahoot is a mainstay and something I use a lot, as most of you know, with our workshops. So please go and install Kahoot now, or fire it up and wait for the PIN number. Right. Meanwhile, I will sort that out. Here we go then. Right. Okay. As ever, I will play this with you. Here we go. Right. Now I'm going to share my screen again.
This is no democracy. It is a dictatorship. I am the law. If you survive camp, you will be on the team.
Okay, there's the PIN number.
If you survive.
Now you think you're doing these boys a favor, taking them aside every time I come down, protecting them from Big Bad Boom. You challenge my authority in front of the entire football team, Coach. You're cutting my legs from under me. You ain't doing these kids a favor by patronizing. You're crippling them. You're crippling them for life. Now I may be a mean cuss, but I'm the same mean cuss with everybody out there on that football field.
Right. Quite a few others.
Each one of you will spend time every day with a teammate of a different race. You will learn about him and his family, his likes, his dislikes. You'll report back to me until you meet every one of your teammates.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground,
3 more people to wait for.
we too will be destroyed.
8 of us ready to go.
Just like that. I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you will learn to play this game like men.
Is this even about football anymore? Or is it just about you?
I'm a winner. I'm going to win.
Everything's not always about winning and losing.
You think I was blinded by my own ambition?
No,
Maybe I pushed him too hard.
Boys are doing all that you can do.
Well done. Let's all get in.
Everybody can see that.
It's
Win
really simple. Just
or
download
lose,
it.
we're going to walk out of this stadium tonight with our heads held high. Do your
10.
best.
Wonderful. One
All
more.
anybody can ask for.
I know football. What you did with those boys. You were the right man for the job, coach.
Wonderful. I'll turn the volume off at that stage. Oh, hang on. There's a new slider, Kahoot. Well done. You've updated. Quick question: is anyone not able to get in at the minute?
I'm going to tell you all about how much.
Just.
I'm not able to, Mike.
Right. Okay. Well, you and me are going to team up then. Okay. So you keep your microphone open for me, and you and I will team up. I will answer for you. Now, just to remind everyone else. Okay, your questions are going to appear on the screen. You answer on your phone, and you only answer once. Once you've pressed the right color code, just sit there and wait for it to do its thing. There's 11 of us here. Remember, you're going to get the question on the screen. You're going to get a countdown timer, and that countdown timer means that that's the time that you've got to make your suggestion. At the end of that timer, that's it. You've all got anonymous names there. So the important thing is, can you beat the fuzzy bear, which of course is me? And clearly, some of you should be able to. You should all be able to. I should not be coming first. So come on, team. You should be beating me. Incidentally, what you're watching there is a great film, Denzel Washington. Remember the Titans, and is a great example of Tupman's theory of team development, as is Lord of the Rings. But for another time, let's move on. Great. Yeah. Thanks, Coach Boone. We're going to minimize and move you on. Okay. 13 questions. I'm going to be really quick. Here we go. Sean, you tell me which answer you want me to select. Good communication involves seeking views of others. True or false?
True.
It is. Well done, Sean. Sean, of course, clearly we can't come last, can we?
No, we can't.
No,
Well,
we can't.
well.
Good. It's true. Okay. We all got it right. No one got it wrong. Well done. Let's move on. Who's in the lead? Caring Ferret. Wow. Steaming out there. 925. Shining Yak. 915. Third place. Aquatic Lark. Sean, we're not even on the board yet. Come on.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Which of the following is a powerful leader? What do you reckon, Sean?
Can't see it because the things.
All of them. I'll do it for you. I reckon it's all of them. Yeah, look at that. Quite interesting now. All the way across the board. The fact of the matter is they're all powerful leaders. All of them are powerful leaders. To say that each one is more powerful than another is not the case. Leadership and power is about influence. Whether you like Hitler or not, clearly no one in here hopefully does. The fact of the matter was, in the essence of what a leader was for the German people during World War I, he was a great leader. To the rest of the world, he was abhorrent, of course. But the fact of the matter is, his influence was so strong over the German people that they would not be force-marched to Nuremberg, as people thought they were. They would turn up in their tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to listen to him give speeches. An incredibly influential person, all for the wrong reasons, as far as we're concerned, and abhorrent, as I said. But the fact of the matter is, hugely influential. Power is about influence. And all of these people are incredibly powerful people. Walsh, change at the front. Shining Yak is now in lead with Aquatic Lark and Fuzzy Bear, Sean. We're coming into third place now. Oh, crikey.
I couldn't see the bottom two answers on that.
Oh, well, I'll read them out. You have to be in a management. You have to be in a management position to be a leader or to be a leader. True or false? False. Yes, it's false. You have to be in a management position to be a leader. True or false? No, you don't, actually. There are plenty of positions that are solely leadership positions rather than management positions. And it is a fallacy and a myth that, you are either a leader or a manager. And the best examples of people that you've worked for that have been line managers or inspirational or aspirational in your working lives and in your home lives have been a great manager and a great leader merged into one solution? Next question. Here we go. Question 4. Regular and effective communication is the key to success for any group dynamic. True or false?
True.
Absolutely right. Great that we've all got that right. Communication, in my view, you might have a different view, but in my view, communication is without doubt. So there you go. That's how much emphasis I'm putting onto it. The most important leadership quality that a leader needs to have. If he can't or she can't communicate via word, written, or any other way, then how are they possibly able to sell their vision for the future? Question 5. Negative attitudes are highly valued in the workplace. True or false, Sean?
True.
Oh, I changed it for you. False. Yes, absolutely. They're not highly valued in the workplace, but as future middle to senior leaders, some of you already leaders at middle level, try to look at it slightly differently. We always work with people who can be a little bit toxic and a little bit negative attitude. The bad apple, as they say, you only need one and the rot spreads. Well, if you're in a position of authority or influence over them, then why not turn their negative attitude into a challenging attitude? Next time you have an appraisal with them, tell them that actually they can be perceived as being a bit negative sometimes, and try to be more challenging and looking at options and how to make solutions rather than just giving negative views all the time. We've all come across them. They're all around us all of the time. And actually, you could have a full-time job changing these people's views from negative to challenging. Great. Shining Yak, whoever that is way out there. Aquatic Lark and Fuzzy Bear in second and third place. Come on, Fuzzy Bear. Sean, we are the seniors here. I think that we need to be right up here. You're letting me down, Sean. But
it's not a sprint.
Well done. Here we go then. Okay, next question. Leadership skills can be earned, inherited, developed, or formed?
Developed.
Absolutely right. Of course they can. Some people say that some people are born to be great leaders. That's absolute rubbish for obvious reasons. But that's not to say that some people, when they're young, show the right sort of traits that actually is known to create a good leader. But it's impossible to say that. It's right at the very beginning of someone's life. Leadership and the skills required for leadership are developed. Not just developed in formal and formal training like you're doing now, but by experience and wisdom and example. Fuzzy Bear, we've stripped down to fourth place. Aquatic Lark is steaming ahead. A Shining Yak in second place. With Caring Ferrets has appeared from nowhere. Who's gone up? Who's got a little green triangle? The game is not over for the bear yet. I'm sure it'll come back. Next question. Question 7. Leadership roles exist only in a work environment. True or false?
False.
False. Absolutely right. Now, someone put true there. I'm willing to bet that as soon as they've put true, they've then said, oh, God. Some of you are parents here. And you will not come across better examples when it's done right. Bearing in mind, we're all individuals. There's no book on how to be a parent. Some of us get it right. Some of us get it wrong. Some of us get it very wrong, as we know. And that's, becomes well known, and people go to jail and children are affected and so on. But inherently, when it's going right, the best leaders that you're going to come across throughout your entire life are your parents or your grandparents, if you live with those. Being a parent is the hardest, most rewarding leadership job you will ever have, and it's right in front of our face. And as usual, we'll overlook it. We chastise where it's necessary. We celebrate at every opportunity. We coach, we mentor, we advise, we guide, and we give direction. We manage and we lead our families and our children the very best that we possibly can. If you ever want to know what your best version of you could be like as a manager and leader in the workplace, then look at yourself as an example with your children. And if you're doing it right, you'll know you'll be doing it right, in which case you won't have a problem in the workplace. If you're doing it wrong, then the chances are, unless of course you're, got multiple personality disorder, a narcissistic sociopath, then the chances are that in the workplace that you won't get it right, or you will get it right, reflective of how you are at home. Oh, Agent Condor swooping into 5th place. Everyone's fighting now, but out in front, 6,040. But the game is not over until the aquatic lark sings. Shining Yak is not far away behind. Caring Ferret and only 400 or so behind there. And Fuzzy Bear, almost pretty much you could say is 3rd place at the minute. But, the game is not over yet. Let's go. Question 8 then. The key to helping others meet their full potential is making them follow orders. True or false?
False.
Yes, false. If you make somebody follow orders, then ultimately, what empowerment are you giving them? They're not enthused to do it. We've all been on the receiving end of being told what to do. Go and clean your bedroom. Get your bedroom tidied up. Put your bike away. How about actually giving that person authority, time, responsibility in order to motivate? You got, your bedroom needs tidying up. How about you take 15 minutes, go and do it, tidy it however you want to, and then when you finished it, why don't you come down and let me know that you finished it, and invite me up, and I'll have a look. If you need more than 15 minutes, just let me know. It's not a problem. You will get far more engagement from a child who's got to tidy their room up than you will by turning around and saying, tidy your room. Now, layer that analogy in the workplace, and you can see very much how following orders or making someone follow orders is not the best way to get someone to meet their full potential, either in a management or in a leadership role. Shining Yak has a streak with 8 correct answers in a row. Watch out, Aquatic Lark. Fuzzy Bear, a little bit disappointed. We're in 4th place. Come on, Sean. We've got so much experience between us both. It's like 150 years worth. Right, question 9. The most respected leaders have what? Money, credibility, education.
Credibility.
Absolutely. Yes, credibility. Credibility means everything. You've all heard, and I've had the wonderful opportunity to speak to know some of you for quite a while now. Credibility is hugely important. If you haven't got the credence, you haven't got the experience, you haven't got the confidence, and you haven't got the subject matter, therefore you haven't got the excellence, and ultimately you will not win the day. People being led need to ensure that the people who are leading them have either been there before, and if not been there before, are equipped to be able to deal with the situations as they arrive and impart the right sort of leadership. And that comes with credence. Let me give an example. We've all been 15 before. We've all been at secondary school before, and we've all had the teacher who was 21 years old. And if you were a boy, and I say that solely because that is usually the way in which the statistics lean, then you probably brought your bag out of I'm going to cause trouble with this, very young stand-in teacher. No credence. Yet when that teacher comes in and that teacher's 55 and has got a face like they woke up next to a bat, you probably think twice about it and just put your head down. So credence, I'm afraid, is very, very important, and quite rightly too. Right, crikey, we're coming towards the end. Aquatic Lark is overtaken. No, Aquatic Lark is still out in the front. Shining Yak, Caring Ferret, Fuzzy Bear, Agent Condor. If you're not on the leaderboard, don't worry too much about it, because there are 3 questions left. Good leaders provide what of the future? Blurry, neat, compelling, horrifying. Yes. Yes. Yes, a horrifying vision of it. Can you imagine if we had a leader that said, oh, it's all doom and gloom and we're all going to be dead in a year. The business will be gone in 6 months. I mean, crikey, holy moly. Listen, we're all going through a difficult time with COVID-19. Some of us have lost friends or even family members. We're all affected by it. Our movements have been restricted. And like or loathe the government, like or loathe our leaders, like or loathe their parties, the fact of the matter is that during the difficult times when they were given daily briefs, even when so many people were dying and being infected and being affected, their message was always on a positive note, and they tried to remain positive and optimistic for the future rather than giving the horrifying vision of the future. A compelling vision of the future. A compelling means that you just can't help yourself but believe it, own it, and run with it. And when someone is compelling you, you naturally gravitate towards it. Coming towards the end, a bit of a change at the bottom with Jolly Cheetah. Well done, Jolly Cheetah. Couple of questions left. Shining Yak is probably the superstar. Streak of 10. Good form. Here we go. Question 11. What makes a leader successful? Shyness, teamwork, pride, or self-importance?
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Teamwork, we say. Of course it is. You can't be a leader. Can you be a leader of one?
Nope.
Can you be a leader of one? Think about that. You know, can you lead a one person? Can you lead yourself? Well, I can tell you now, of course you can. The British military is a great example of teamwork, clearly, and I'm going to be biased towards that because I've got a lot of experience in that area. But the fact of the matter is that every single individual soldier, sailor, and airman are taught to lead themselves before leading others. It's called self-awareness. It's called being aware of your capabilities. It's called not lying to yourself. So you can be a leader of just one person, yourself. Be the best that you can be. Don't try and be better than somebody else. Cool. Right, moving on. Wow, change in second place. Shining Yak and Karen Ferret are starting to gnaw at each other. Fuzzy Bear still in fourth place. A little bit disappointing, but Sean has let me down, everyone.
We're building the confidence of the others.
Exactly. We're allowing others. Jolly Cheetah is at the bottom there with 8,300. Great. Couple of questions left. The game is not over until the lark sings. Leadership plays a minor role in determining the success or failure of an organisation. True or false?
False.
It is false. Someone said true. It plays a major role, an absolute major role in determining the success or failure of an organisation. You know, when you see, you know, top execs being questioned by a parliamentary committee on the downfall of a recently very large property, estates and facilities management company, you all know who I'm talking about. Of course, we're talking about the lovely Carillion. When you see all the execs there have received £8 million bonuses, yet the business actually, if you put all their bonuses together, that would have saved the business. Saving the business would have saved thousands of people's jobs and thousands of suppliers from losing money. Yeah, you absolutely can take this away from this leadership. Businesses fail as a result of leadership. You know, it is the leadership that looks at the perspective. It is the leadership that looks at the future. And when the leadership fails, that is a major part in any organization's downfall. Of course, sometimes it's not always the reason. Sometimes there are what we call macro features or macro environmental or macro features, which are factors which affect an organization that they have no control over. But the bottom line is that you know, leadership plays a major role in the success or failure of any organization. Oh my God, we've slipped down. Fuzzy Bear is now into fourth place. Jolly Cheetah has overtaken. Very pleased for Jolly Cheetah, whoever that is. Shining Yak and Karen Ferret are still at each other's throats. And Karen Ferret is not letting go of Aquatic Lark, whoever that is. Well done, Aquatic Lark. Right, on to the final question then. Eyes down, here we go. Final question. A positive mindset is also associated with strong leadership. True or false?
True.
Wonderful. True. Of course it's true. Absolutely right. It's true. You need to have a positive mindset. There is a difference between positivity and optimistic. Have a think about what that is. And ideally, a good leader needs to be positive and optimistic. They both, I'm so scared, Sean, of pressing next, because if we haven't won.
I tell you, we're building the confidence. We're doing them a favour.
I'm going to have to give this job up and go back to the army. Right. Here we go then. So well done, everyone. The majority of you got them all right. And this is just an introduction just to get us warmed up. And it clearly, you know, a lot of you have got experience in the workplace in general. None of these are trick questions, which is great stuff. But who won? Let's find out. In third place, Shining Yak. Well done, Shining Yak. Come forward and take your cup. Tearing Ferret in second, but swooping out in front unbelievably. Whoever Aquatic Laugh is, I want to know. Who's Aquatic Laugh? Aquatic Laugh comes forward. Someone has got their hands over their mouth. I know. Keep your mind on step forward. Who's Aquatic Laugh?
That's me.
Well done, Jonathan Swift. Well done, Jonathan. Aquatic Lark. I should know. Well done indeed. Right, okay. Time to stop sharing the screen and move on to the next part. Right. Let me leave that. Another day. Good. Let's go back. Let's go back to our presentation. Everyone just bear with me again, please, while I sort out the admin. There is no workshop without admin, I'm afraid. It's so much easier in the room with you, I can assure you. Okay, here we go. Right, good. Am I set? Yes, I am. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. Good, there we go. So you should now be able to see the workshop aim. Can anyone give me a confirmation? You can see that?
Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, great. Right, let's crack on with the rest of the workshop then. And make sure my timer is still going. Good. We're already in less than an hour, down to 55 minutes. Okay, so that's the aim of today's workshop. Over the next 55 minutes, I'd say probably a maximum of an hour. We might well be 5 minutes over. We started 5 minutes late. The aim of this workshop, which is a limited aim format, is to introduce you to elements of leadership and management specifically relevant to Unit 15 Learning Outcome 1. I'm not going to read the rest out. The rest is there for you to look at, but I will highlight the bottom 3 bullets there. The differences or differentiation between management and leadership, the different types of theories. Now, I'm not going to cover all of those theories. We're just going to look at one. And then you guys are going to go and find out about some of the other theories and come back and feed back to us. And likewise with some of the styles. I'm only actually going to cover one style. And then depending on how much time is left, depends on whether you're given the opportunity to find out and come back and feedback. And please do. A lot of people genuinely don't like to work in teams, believe it or not. And that's fine. We're all different. We're all introverts or extroverts or floating around in the middle. But as I said to you at the very beginning, you're only going to get out of this what you put in. And remember, you are pioneers for this because, you know, there are 11 of us here, 12 of us in total. But actually there are 27 of your fellow peers on the level 3, and this recording will benefit them because this workshop won't be delivered again to the current cohorts. Great. Right, let's crack on. So I'm going to ask a question. Please unmute your mics and let's engage for a little while. Question: what is the difference between management and leadership? There you go. Open. I'm always going to go to Sean first because he's a really nice guy, Sean, and very confident, very experienced. So, you know, perhaps Sean, you'll help me out through this workshop. Will you mind?
No, I don't mind. No.
Lovely. if I pose the question to Sean, and Sean can perhaps give his interpretation, which then opens the doors for the rest of you. And by all means, feel free to jump in. So, Sean, what do you think the difference between management and leadership is?
I think leadership is something that can be done from any level. They're just generally people that are very good at organising and getting things done. Management, however, is somebody that probably sits a little bit higher up that make the decisions about businesses and the way they want things to move forward, where the leadership is somebody that takes those things forward.
Okay, all right, that's a good take. That's interesting. Anyone else? Go on, guys, unmute your mics. Everyone unmute their mics so that you're all go for it. Come on, talk to me. Tristan, what do you reckon?
I would say leadership is kind of influencing people with what you know and trying to drive them. Whereas management, I would say, is more of a personal thing potentially, where you instead of driving them, you look for ways to. I don't want to use the word manage, but you try to find ways to be able to move them forward. Whereas leadership, I would say, is influencing them to move forward. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good take. Anyone else? Come on, step forward. Don't be shy. Help each other.
I've got a quote that I like that I found online.
Go for it.
A manager does things right while a leader does the right things.
Well done. Who said that?
John.
No, I mean, who said that quote?
I haven't got a clue. I just found it randomly.
It was that quote. That quote was actually made by a guy called Peter Drucker. You can see that there at the top left-hand corner. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Remember back to the COVID-19 crisis. Remember in the first few days of Boris Johnson, old Bojo, on the stage there, and Rishi Sunak, and if you remember, they kept saying we're doing this because it's the right thing to do. We're doing this because it's the right thing to do, and they constantly said that rather than saying we're doing this because it needs to be done, which is doing things right. And clearly, throughout the whole COVID-19 crisis period, lots of things have gone wrong, haven't they? The NHS track and trace, the statistics and so on. Lots of things have gone wrong. But what they done at the very beginning was turn around and said, we're giving this money to businesses because it's the right thing to do. We're going to British businesses. We are going to them, no matter what's been reported, because it's the right thing to do. That is about leadership. Leadership isn't always right. Whereas management actually can't afford to be wrong. So before we go any further, anything else anyone else would like to say about management versus leadership and the differences there? Anybody? Okay, cool. So there you go. There's a few quotes on the board there for you. But to continue my point to you, if you had to pick out a few words, management is about function, process, measurement. Leadership is about passion, vision, and inspiration. Example. Can you be a manager without being a leader? Yes, you can. Are you going to be any good? Probably not. So a manager who solely does management functions usually, therefore, has no interaction with anyone else. There are plenty of managers who don't actually manage anybody, but manage resources. There are plenty of people that you've probably worked with who's been in a previous job where they've managed resources only, and then as soon as they get with people, they're really difficult to get on with. And this is all because we're shaped by our experiences. This is all because we're shaped by our experiences and the people that we work and the people that we socialize with. So management is about function, process, measurement, and leadership is about passion, vision, inspiration, example. Moving on then. So on the left-hand side is management. what it is to be a manager. On the right-hand side, what it is to be a leader. And if we had to separate the two with two sort of distinct areas which depict management and leadership, they'd probably look something like this. Notice I said probably. Management, very process-driven, performance measurement, coordination of resources, making plans, tactical decision-making. What does tactical decision-making actually mean? Open question to any of you. What do you think it means? What does tactical decision-making mean? Anybody? What do you think, Sean?
I'm not sure, really, to be honest.
Okay, that's all right. No, don't know. That's fine. What about you, Colette? What do you think?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing the word tactical would be, decisions made on detail, maybe.
I think that's a pretty good description, actually. Yeah, you've got your sort of operational decision making, which is very much right now.
Yeah.
And then you've got your tactical decision making, which is in the short to medium term, that you make a decision based upon something that needs to happen. It needs to happen. It's going to happen. And then strategic is long term, where actually you might end up chasing your mind by the time you get to that. My wife is an expert in operational, tactical, and strategic decision making, just like actually all of your partners are. My wife makes operational decisions all of the time with the children, as you do, or when you're getting your children ready for school, metaphorically, of course, not lately, but etc. But where's your bags? Where's your sandwiches? Get your shoes on, etc., etc. You're making decisions all of the time. The tactical decision making. Oh, do you know what? I think I'll have a brew at 12 o'clock. You're going to make a decision based upon something that needs to happen. Oh, it's nearly lunchtime. I'll have me lunch about 12:15. That's no different in the workplace, whether that's something to do with a supplier or a function or whatever. The decision needs to be made, and you plan when you're going to make that decision or when you're going to do that action. It could be a meeting, it could be sending an email, it could be anything, but it's in the short to medium plan. The strategic thinking, though, going back to my good lady, should we have a roast this Sunday? Or should I give him spaghetti bolognese again? He enjoyed that. Strategic decision making is about making decisions for the future, in the future, which could well change. And a lot of organizations and teams fail where they haven't, or where they don't remain adaptable and flexible enough to change their plan. So strategic, long term; tactical, short to medium; operational, now. Okay, well, what about leadership then? Well, some of you described it pretty well at the beginning there. It's about selling a vision, empowering people. It's about emotion, passion, and belief. Now, just because that word emotion exists doesn't mean to say that, a leader is going around like some sort of passive snowflake wallflower. That is not what leadership is all about. But leadership is about making sure that people know that you are passionate about a product or the service. And there is a myth out there that leaders are hierarchical. In other words, only leaders, that are leaders. We say leaders, and automatically you picture a triangle with someone sitting on the top, or a room of chairs, and a set of chairs at the beginning, at the end of the room, turned around to face, a sort of small group of leaders at the top, which is absolute rubbish. Leaders are everywhere. The best leaders have led when they had no one to lead. So leadership is everywhere. It's not hierarchical. And actually, some of the best leaders are in the lower to middle grounds of, and I say lower, I mean, that's probably politically incorrect to say that, lower, but certainly in the operational areas. One of the best leaders I came across, not just military, but completely differently. One of the best leaders I come across was a lady. Her name was Beverly. And she was a receptionist in Northampton. when I was head of facilities for an insurance group. Lots of properties I had responsible for, lots of people, lots of money. And this lady used to run the reception. Now, that woman was amazing in leading. And by that, I mean she was so charismatic, so engaging with everybody. She arranged things for people. She motivated people when they came in. It wasn't her job to say good morning to the boss all the time, and not just the boss, but everyone else. She would see the boss and she'd go, "Oh, good morning, Adam. Have a really lovely day. I'll pop your mail in through later. If you've got any problems, you know where I am." I mean, she'd been working there for 25 years, said the same thing every morning. People would come into work with a face like a back end of a bus, but go through the actual doors, spend 2 minutes with Beverly catching up on something, and then be enthused to start the day. She had an effect on that business which was enormous. And when sadly she fell ill and spent 6 months in hospital, that business actually saw its productivity drop. Morale dropped because Bev wasn't there delivering what Bev has done for the past 25 years. When she came back, the business saw productivity increase. And this is a true story. And this organization deals with money. So, you know, if that is an inspiration projected from an individual who has nothing to do with that core business of selling insurance, then I don't know what is. But that place was like a ghost town without Beverly. This woman would be was a tour de force, and she would be zipping around all over the place. She would be making people laugh. She would have tea hours where she would make someone a cup of tea, and then she would do her own little raffle, and then she would pull a name out. All this would be on a webcam on a screen in the main area where everyone was on phones and stuff. And she ran her own like little show. Oh, it's tea time, right? Who's going to get a free cup of tea? And she'd pull out. Now, clearly, you might say, well, she was bored on reception then. But no, this is literally what she'd done, knowing that it would make an effect on somebody. Somebody would get a free cup of tea. Somebody would get a cup of tea brought to them with a smile. Well done, you won your cup of tea. All of that exudes amazing leadership. Yes, there are elements that are missing because it's about a vision and what you want to try and sell the vision to your people. Yes, maybe she wasn't doing that, but by osmosis, she was selling positivity. She was selling optimism. She was selling buy-in. She was selling teamwork. She was selling all of the sorts of things that you want a leader to sell. Great example. Right, so there you go. So those are the differences really between management and leadership, and you can see those areas there. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to watch a short video. Quick note for you, because this is being recorded, I'm not sure, actually, I don't think the video comes out smoothly because it's going to be a video of the video, but you should be able to hear the sound, which I think is music, sorry about that, and you should be able to see the screen. And of course, I'll make sure there's a link. I'll make sure there's a link in the in this document in your resource area on Padlet. So let's have a quick look at the video to summarize the difference between management and leadership. And I've on purposely tried not to include different areas than you're going to see in this video. Right, there you go. So that's a summary of the differences between leadership and management. In summary of the summary, management is about function, process. Leadership is about vision, inspiration, example. Can one be themselves without the other? Yes, they can. But ultimately, they always go much, much better and much, much more hand in hand, produces a much better leader and a much better manager when the manager has the nuance to be a leader at the same time. And likewise with a leader who has the nuance to be a manager at the same time. The difficulty is if you're solely a leader and go by the principles of leadership and you exude all those leadership qualities, but actually have no management ability, there's no real substance to you. And we've all come across people, and I've given you examples of them before, but we've all come across people that sell you a great story, but actually never actually produce anything. They never actually go anywhere. Half the time, they're just all full of wind. Well, that is what a leader is like when a leader has no management function in them, or does not lead in a way in which actually delegates out the management functions to talented managers. Yeah, it affects us greatly in the workplace and in teams in general. The best leaders are also managers, and the best managers are also leaders. The secret is knowing that they are two separate areas of interpersonality, so to speak, and they both can be developed. Good. Any questions so far? Great. Okay. Well, we'll take a quick 2-minute breather, and then we'll come back, and then we'll carry on. I'll use this time to stop this video. We'll call it part 1, and then when we come back, we'll then start part 2.